Imagine working hard all your life to secure your family's future, only to be conned out of it in an elaborate scam.
Well, sadly, that's exactly what happened to Jill Casey's late husband, Tim, who believed he'd found a way to make some extra money, only to discover he had been cruelly deceived. Jill is here to explain more now. Jill, thank you for coming in today. It's very brave of you to sit here and explain the story, because it's not an easy story to share, but it's a hugely important one.
And it breaks it all up again.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does.
you.
But if it helps just one person or stops just one person falling for what Tim fell for, then that's really important. Tell us a little bit about him. You had a bit of a whirlwind romance when you first met, didn't you?
Yeah, we met through a friend, and when I was working in London, and we met, and he was on leave. He was living in Hong Kong, working in Hong Kong Flying, and we were introduced and went out a couple of times, and then he went off and did some other stuff, and then he came back again into London, and 4 days after I met him that second time, he asked me to marry him. So 4 days, and then we were married 45 years.
Wow, and you had a lovely time over those 45 years.
We had a fab time. He was a great bloke. He was very funny, very quick-witted.
Yes.
Clever guy.
Yes, which I think makes this even more challenging to understand, essentially. Can you tell us a little bit about how the scam began? Do you know about that?
I do. I have to say I wasn't that well at the time, so I wasn't paying a massive amount of attention, sadly. But he did say, or he'd seen a clip with Martin Lewis, poor Martin Lewis, who always gets blamed for these things, and somebody else, I'm not quite sure. But it was supposedly on this programme. It
was on This Morning.
But clearly it wasn't. No. But, and it was recommending crypto, Bitcoin. And you contacted a number, London number, and they got back to you. You know, you filled in your name and telephone number, and then or email, I don't know what, and then they came back to him. And it started from then, and the brainwashing starts from then. It was a guy, sounded quite young, a guy called Jacob Martin, who contacted him. He had an Americanized accent, but I have a feeling he possibly was South American, wasn't quite American. But since then, I've looked it up, and there is a crypto broker called Jacob Martin. They are so clever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he persuaded him to put, I can't remember what it was, £500 or something into it.
A relatively small amount at the time.
Very small to start with. So I thought, well, I can't, fine. I don't think that's an issue particularly. And it went on from then. And they just, once they get their hooks in, they just keep on and on and on. And this guy would phone perhaps 3 times a week, bearing in mind by this time, Tim was in his early 80s, and he had the time. You know, he was at home, he had the time, and he would phone perhaps 3 times a week, and he would talk for 2 hours.
Goodness me.
And it was just brainwashing.
And so they took the initial money from Tim, and they started with another faked website. So they had the fake advert that was AI generated, supposedly on this show, with Martin and someone else selling this idea. Then they had a fake website that they showed him, which was indicating the profit that he was making.
Yeah, so in the left-hand corner, there's this little click box. Shows you your investment, and then it ticks up with the money that you're making. And he couldn't wait to get down in the morning to see where this tick box had got to. I mean, he really got addicted to this whole thing. And I've heard of this happening before to people. And then to reinforce that, this chap's back on the phone again then, going, well, this, that and the other. And if he ever said, well, maybe we should take, what if it got to £10,000? Maybe we should take the £10,000 out. Yeah. And they go, oh, no, well, if you go up to 15, you're on another rate, So the thought then is, oh, well, maybe we could invest another 5.
Yes.
And on it went. And it went on for about 3 or 4 months, I should think. And I have to say I was getting more and more cynical about it. But he would just bat me away. if I said...
Who, Tim would back
Yeah,
you
well,
away.
not physically,
Yeah,
but,
no.
But he would say, no, it's fine, it's fine, I know what I'm doing.
He'd always run the finances in the house.
He
had no
had.
reason not to trust his...
because when I married him, he'd already got a house and he was already doing the stuff, so...
he was astute.
He
was smart.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
Was there any red flags for you at all?
I just went back to what he would have said over and over. If it looks too good to be true, then it usually is too good to be true. But you're in it then. You're in the middle of it.
So, Jill, when did it all start to unravel?
Well, as the money ticks up, and I can't remember what the tick box was telling us by then. By then, we'd put in about 90,000. And then we said, we'd like that out, please.
Yes.
And they said, well, you need to pay a tax bill. So I was saying, well, who do we pay a tax bill to? Because you're supposedly in Switzerland, we live in the UK.
Yeah.
Who do we owe
country?
tax to?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they just talked him through it. And I was just not happy at all. And but we hadn't got this. They wanted 30,000. We hadn't got this 30,000.
So they needed another 30,000 to release...
to pay tax, to release this money. And I was saying, well, why can't you use some of this money to pay the tax? You're saying this money belongs to us. No, we're not allowed to do that. And so he borrowed some money from a family member, his family, and which I was not happy about at all. I mean, it sounds like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't.
No.
But,
No.
I wasn't in favour of that. But anyway, he did it. And then we paid this supposed tax bill. And then we said, OK, now we'll have the money out, thank you. And they said, oh, no, you've got to pay us commission now. Now, all the way through, this is another 20, 30,000 or whatever. And all the way through, I'd been saying, where do you get your money from? Oh, don't worry about that. We get it through the churn, when they're turning money over. And so anyway, then there's another 30,000. So and that's when Tim said to me, oh, maybe I could borrow from so-and-so. And I said, look, this has just gone far. This is just crazy.
Yes.
You've lost it. This money's lost. And his mouth dropped open and he looked at me and he said, has it really gone, this money? And I said, yeah, it's gone. It's gone, I'm sure it's gone. But they never say that. They always say to you, no, it's yours. You've just got to pay this.
And a bit more.
And as soon as you'd paid that, they would have said, oh, no, you need another 5 or 10 or whatever.
And this obviously must have really affected his self-esteem. He was a clever, bright man, a high flyer.
Quite social and, extrovert.
And then after that, you received a devastating diagnosis as well.
Yeah, well, but it just knocked him for 6. It stole his dignity, it stole his self-confidence, his self-esteem. He went a lot quieter. And then, so this is 3 years ago we're talking about. So 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, he didn't seem that well. He was a lot quieter. He didn't seem that well. And then during that summer, which was last summer, 2024, he was getting various attacks. So he'd get high fevers and things like that. And eventually they investigated and they came up with a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. And they gave him 4 months to live. And I thought, it's ridiculous, he's fine. Yeah. 4 months it was. And it was... But I'm absolutely convinced. I mean, nobody lives forever, do they?
No.
And he was 85 by then. But I am convinced that all this stress and strain and upset...
Didn't help.
Because stress does have a massive effect upon you physically. I'm sure that
it accelerated that.
Accelerated. I'm absolutely sure.
Jill, it's so
awful. I think he just wanted to be out of it.
Of course,
yes.
Of course. And was devastated, as you say.
Yeah.
It's something that we talk about a lot on the show, and Martin is so passionate and frustrated and angry that his image is used. Yeah. We're going to be talking to him very shortly about other things that we can trust him. And Martin, I'm sure you've just been hearing Jill tell that tale, and yet again, it's this recurring nightmare for you and for these people that are scammed.
Well, it's just devastating. I mean, Jill has explained it perfectly. And she's given what is, frankly, a textbook example of how these criminals, these vicious criminals, steal people's money via what is brainwashing. It is absolutely typical. Now, I will do my usual caveat. I do not do adverts. I do not recommend make money products. I do not recommend crypto trading or investment schemes. If you see those adverts on social media, they are criminals. And the way they draw you in with £250 is a usual amount. And yes, you see that ticker, you think you're making more money. They persuade you to put more money in. They tend to talk. I mean, think about it. Let's be blunt here. What legitimate company has the resources to have someone spend 2 hours with you 3 times a week? They don't. They're scammers, and they will persuade you to put more and more and more money in. Now, the problem is, in this country at the moment, even though it's now 6 years since I sued Facebook over this, longer since I started campaigning for a change in regulation, we still have basically zero regulation over scam adverts on social media, which we have to deny these criminals the oxygen of publicity that they get from big tech platforms. There's likely to be a consultation launched under the Online Safety Act in 2026 that probably won't come in till 2027. So Jill has viscerally explained the danger to everybody watching. And let me make it plain. There are no protections. There are no regulations that are going to help you. You have to help yourself. If it seems too good to be true, do not do it. Do not believe pretty much any advert with any celebrity in on social media. Some will be legitimate, but you are better off to assume all of them are scams. If you want my information, well, this program will go to my website. Do not trust social media adverts. Many of them are there to rip you off. And I hate the word scams now. It's criminals, vicious organised crime trying to pervert the finances of people, both vulnerable and intelligent in this country. And I mean, when I hear at the start yet again, you know, we saw an advert with Martin Lewis in, and I totally understand. Not everybody, the message hasn't reached everybody yet. It is absolutely devastating. My career has been about trying to protect consumers, protect their pockets, and fight for financial justice. And for these people to use my name to rip vulnerable people off and non-vulnerable people off is absolutely disgraceful. And they know what they're doing. They have even used deep fake AIs of me talking about them being, and they've used those particular shots. They may even use this one as a deep fake AI to try and do a new advert about scams.
Oh, Martin, well, look, you make it as clear as you possibly can.
It's not me, it's the people who
We will keep trying to get the message out that anything involving you, involving any of those sort of products is absolutely a scam. We're going to be talking to you a little bit later on as well about advice that you can trust. Jill, you were living with the consequences of this for your life.
Yes,
Not only have you tragically lost Tim, but your future is very different now, as well, isn't it?
Certainly, yes. I mean, it took away all our spare money, really. So whereas we didn't spend money recklessly, but we had that money sitting there thinking, well, if, you know, we need a new car or whatever, then we don't have to worry about getting it. Whereas now I have to think much more seriously about spending any medium to large sums of money.
Yes.
One of the things that I did want to say is that when I started thinking about all this, the amount of money that goes out of the country to these foreign, usually criminals, is mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. And we cannot afford it. I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg that what they admit to 11.5 billion. And if you say that you could 10 times that, probably, because most people don't report these things. So that's £100 billion going out mostly to foreign criminals.
You can see why Martin is so angry and frustrated that more hasn't been done in all the time he's been campaigning. Because if they could put in some regulation of some sort, we can protect the likes of you and those other people who are losing so much money. Thank you for coming in. And sharing your story. If we help just one person, it's been worth it, Jill.
Indeed.
So sorry for what you've been through.
And
for more telltale signs of how to spot a scam, there's more information on our This Morning. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.